Hey, welcome back to English Podcast for You. I'm Leo, and as always, I'm sitting here with my wonderful friend, Lily.
Hi, everyone. Oh, Leo, stop. Wonderful friend. What did you break this time? Or are you just trying to be nice because you need something?
Hey, can't I just give you a warm welcome? No, honestly, we are both so happy that you're spending a little bit of your day with us, listening to real, simple English.
Yeah, we really are. And, before we jump into today's topic, I just want to remind you all that every time you listen, even if you feel like you aren't making fast progress, your brain is absorbing the rhythm, the sounds, and the feeling of real English sentences. So don't be hard on yourself, okay? Just relax and enjoy the chat with us.
Absolutely. Listening is a skill that grows quietly. Now, Lily, speaking of stress and being hard on yourself, guess what I spent my whole evening doing yesterday?
Packing your suitcase or losing your passport under the sofa?
Both, actually. Well, almost both. I was checking flight tickets, looking at customs rules, and getting completely overwhelmed by airport navigation.
Oh, airport stress. Is there anything worse than that feeling when you're standing in a long line and your hands are suddenly sweaty because you think you did something wrong, even when you haven't?
Yes, exactly that. That is why today we are diving into how to handle check-in, security, and how to pass airport customs easily. We want to help you feel confident, calm, and ready when you travel in English.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning of the airport journey. You walk through those huge automatic doors, you see hundreds of people running around and huge screens everywhere. What is the first thing that usually makes you nervous, Leo?
Honestly, the check-in desk. For some reason, whenever I walk up to the agent, my brain just goes blank. I start worrying about my bag. I think, what if my bag is too heavy?
Ah, yes. That brings us to one of our key terms today, your baggage allowance. That's the amount or weight of luggage that your airline allows you to carry without paying extra money.
Right, your baggage allowance. And every airline feels different. Some let you bring 23 kilos, some let you bring 2 bags, and some budget airlines, well, they charge you if your bag is 1 millimeter too big.
Oh, budget airlines are ruthless, Leo. I remember one time I was traveling with my family, and my bag was like 500 grams over the baggage allowance, just half a kilo. And the check-in agent looked at me so seriously and said, "You have to pay $50 or take something out."
No way! $50 for half a kilo? So what did you do?
I opened my suitcase right there in front of 20 people in line, pulled out 3 heavy winter sweaters, and put them all on at the same time.
You put on 3 sweaters in the middle of a hot airport? You must have looked like a giant teddy bear.
I looked ridiculous, Leo, but I saved $50. The point is, understanding your baggage allowance before you get to the airport saves you so much embarrassment and stress. You can check it online on your flight ticket or booking confirmation.
That is such good advice. But okay, once you survive check-in and drop off your big bags, you face the next giant monster, security control.
Ooh, security. Why does security always feel like an exam you forgot to study?
Exactly. You take off your belt, you take off your shoes, you pull out your laptop, liquids in a tiny plastic bag, and you're trying to do it fast because the person behind you is breathing down your neck.
It's so intense. But here is a tip for English learners when passing through security. The security officers, they speak very fast because they talk to thousands of people every day. They usually say things like laptop out of the bag, belt off, pockets empty. They don't use full, quiet sentences.
Yeah, they sound very sharp, but they aren't angry at you. That's just their routine. So, if you don't understand what they said, what should you say, Lily?
Keep it simple, Leo. Just say, "Pardon?" or "Sorry, could you repeat that slowly, please?" Don't panic. Security staff are used to international travelers every single minute.
That's true. Now, what happens when your trip isn't a direct flight? What if you have a layover?
Ah, a layover. That means a stop or a period of waiting between two parts of a flight, usually at an intermediate airport.
Right. I hate short layovers, Lily. One time I had a flight to London with a layover in Frankfurt. I only had 45 minutes to switch planes.
45 minutes in Frankfurt? But Frankfurt Airport is huge. It's practically its own city.
It really is. My plane arrived 15 minutes late, so I had 30 minutes to run across 3 terminals, go through a quick passport check, and find my next boarding gate.
Oh no, did you make it?
I ran like I was in an action movie. My jacket was flying, my backpack was jumping up and down, people were staring at me. I reached the boarding gate right as they were closing the doors. I was panting so hard I couldn't even say my name.
Hello, gasp. I'm Pant Leo. Oh man, that sounds horrifying. But that brings up our next important phrase, boarding gate. That's the specific area where you wait and enter the airplane.
Yes, always check those giant display screens for your boarding gate number as soon as your layover starts. Don't just sit down to eat pizza before checking where your gate is located.
That is so true. Now, let's talk about the part that worries English learners the most, arriving in a foreign country and facing border control or customs officer questions.
Yes, this is where people freeze up. They worry, what if they ask me questions in fast English and I don't understand? Or what if I use the wrong word?
Exactly. But here is the secret to passing airport customs easily. Customs officers usually ask the exact same 4 or 5 questions to everyone. If you know those questions before you land, you won't be scared at all.
That's right. Questions like, what is the purpose of your visit? Or how long are you staying? Or where will you be staying?
Exactly. Simple, direct answers are best. You don't need a long story. If they ask, what is the purpose of your visit? You can just say, tourism, or business, or I'm visiting family. Short and clear.
And what about our last key term for today? To declare items. What does that actually mean in simple English, Lily?
To declare items means to officially tell customs officers about certain goods or money you're carrying into the country. Things like expensive electronics, large amounts of cash, fresh food, or gifts that exceed the allowance limit.
Ah, yes, plants, fruits, meats. Many countries are very strict about agricultural products. I actually saw someone at customs once who had packed fresh home-cooked sausage from his grandma in his bag.
Oh no, Grandma's sausage! Did they let him keep it?
Nope, they had to throw it in a special biohazard bin. The guy looked like he was gonna cry. He didn't declare items on his customs card, so he almost got a fine, too.
That is such a good lesson. Always fill out your customs declaration form honestly. If you're not sure whether to declare items or not, just choose the Goods to Declare channel and ask the officer. It is much better to ask than to get fined.
Hey, Lily, why don't we do a quick casual role play right now? You can be the customs officer, and I'll be a nervous traveler.
Ooh, I love role plays. Okay, let me put on my serious customs officer voice. Next, please. Good afternoon. Passport and arrival card, please.
Good afternoon, officer. Here you go. Passport and card.
Thank you. What is the purpose of your visit to the UK?
I'm here for holiday, spending 1 week in London to see the sights.
I see. And where will you be staying during your visit?
At the Central City Hotel on Oxford Street. Here is my hotel booking confirmation if you need to see it.
Do you have anything to declare? Any fresh food, plants, or goods exceeding your personal allowance?
No, nothing to declare items-wise. Just my personal clothes and laptop.
Great. Enjoy your stay in London. Next.
Whew, that wasn't so scary after all. See how smooth that was?
Exactly. Did you notice how simple Leo's answers were? He didn't say, well, I was planning to come last month, but my dog was sick, so then I booked this trip. No, just, I'm here for holiday. That's all they need.
Keep it brief, keep it polite, and have your papers or your phone screens ready in your hand before you stand in line. That's how you pass airport customs easily.
That is so true. Another thing I wanted to share is about waiting at the boarding gate. You know how people line up 30 minutes before the plane even starts boarding?
Oh, the gate runners. Why do people do that, Lily? Your seat is assigned on your ticket. The plane is not going to leave without you if you're standing in the waiting area.
I know, but people get anxious about overhead cabin space for their hand luggage. If you board last, sometimes there's no space above your seat, and they have to put your carry-on bag down below in the cargo hold.
Ah, good point. That's why keeping a small personal bag, like a backpack, with your essential items, passport, medicine, phone charger, under the seat in front of you is always a smart move.
You know, Leo, traveling in a second language takes real courage. When you are navigating an airport in English, you aren't just reading signs. You are processing instructions, answering official questions, managing your emotions, and handling timing, all at once.
It really does take courage. And if you ever make a mistake or get confused, don't be ashamed. Airport staff deal with non-native speakers every single second of every day. They are there to guide you.
Yes, be proud of yourself for trying. Every trip you take and every interaction you have in English builds your real-world confidence.
Well said, Lily. Now, let me ask you, before we continue our chat, can you recap our target vocabulary from today's chat so far so our listeners can fix them in their mind?
Of course. So far, we focused on 4 super practical airport phrases. Baggage allowance, which is the weight or number of bags permitted by your airline without extra fees. Layover, which is a period of waiting between connecting flights. Declare items, meaning officially reporting goods, food, or currency to border control authorities. And boarding gate, which is the place in the airport terminal where passengers board the aircraft.
Fantastic. These 4 terms will make your next flight and airport experience much smoother and stress-free.
We hope this conversation makes you feel much more relaxed about your next journey through an international airport.
Absolutely. And speaking of the journey, what about when things go slightly wrong? Like when you're standing by the luggage belt and everyone else gets their bags, but yours just isn't coming out.
Oh no, lost luggage. Don't even remind me, Leo. That is a true travel nightmare.
It really is. I mean, you stand there watching the belt go around and around and around until it's literally just your lonely self and one single broken plastic box.
Ugh, the heartbreak. But you know, if that ever happens, the important thing is not to panic. Every baggage claim area has a special desk, usually called the Lost and Found or Baggage Service Office.
Right, the baggage service office. And what is the first thing you need when you walk up to that counter, Lily?
Your baggage claim sticker. You know, that tiny sticker they attach to the back of your passport or your paper boarding pass when you check your bag in. Do not lose that tiny sticker.
Yes, that little barcode is like gold in that moment. The agent will scan it and they can see exactly where your bag was scanned last.
Exactly. And when you talk to the agent, you can simply say, "My bag hasn't come out on the carousel. Here is my baggage claim tag." Very simple, very direct English.
And then they'll ask you to describe your bag, right? Like, what does it look like?
Yes, and this is where everyone says, it's a black suitcase. Leo, 90% of suitcases in the world are black.
Guilty. I have a black suitcase too. That's why my mom always ties a bright yellow ribbon around the handle of my bag. I used to think it looked silly, but at the baggage office, it makes describing your luggage so much easier.
Your mom is smart. You can just tell them, it's a medium-sized black suitcase with a bright yellow ribbon on the handle. That small detail helps them find it in the system much faster.
And what if they tell you, "Sir, your bag missed the layover connection. It will arrive on the next flight tomorrow."
Then you fill out a Property Irregularity Report, or PIR form. You give them your hotel address or your home address and your phone number so they can deliver the bag directly to you for free.
That's a relief. Most airlines will actually deliver it right to your hotel door once it arrives on the next flight.
They do. But while you're waiting for your bag, you might need some basic items like a toothbrush or a change of clothes. So you can ask the agent, does the airline provide an emergency overnight kit? Or can I claim reimbursement for essential items?
Ooh, reimbursement. That's a great word for our listeners, Lily. Reimbursement means getting your money back after you paid for something out of your own pocket.
Exactly. Many airlines will refund you for basic toiletries and clothes if you keep your store receipts. So keep those receipts safe.
Speaking of keeping things safe, what about food at the airport? Because once you clear customs, or while you're waiting for a connection, you almost always end up getting hungry.
Oh boy, airport food prices. It's like normal world prices multiplied by 3.
Right? You buy a small bottle of water and a sandwich, and the cashier says, "That'll be $25, please." And you just stand there like, did I buy the restaurant or just the sandwich?
It feels like a crime. But honestly, ordering food in English at an airport terminal is such good low-pressure practice for language learners.
It really is, because the interaction is very quick and structured. What are some typical phrases you hear at an airport cafe, Lily?
Usually, the barista or cashier will greet you with, "Hi there, what can I get started for you today?" Or, "Are you having this here or to go?"
To go, or in the UK, they often say takeaway, meaning you're taking the food away with you to your boarding gate.
Right. And if you want to order, you don't need complicated grammar. Just say, "Could I please get a hot Americano and a chicken sandwich to go?" Short, polite, and effective.
And what if you have dietary restrictions, like if you're vegetarian or you can't have dairy milk?
Very simple. You can ask, "Do you have any vegetarian options?" Or, "Can I get this with oat milk or soy milk, please?"
Oat milk and coffee is superior, just saying.
We can agree to disagree on that one, Leo. But here is another great tip. Always ask for a receipt if you need to keep track of your travel expenses, especially if you're traveling for work.
How do you ask for that simply?
Just say, "Could I have a receipt, please?" Or, "Can you print a tax invoice for me?" Simple and clear.
Perfect. Now, what about when you finally get on the plane and you're trying to settle into your seat? Sometimes people are sitting in your seat by mistake.
Oh no, that is such an awkward situation. You walk down the narrow aisle holding your ticket, you look at row 24, seat B, and someone is already sitting there happily watching a movie.
What do you do in that situation without being rude?
Politeness is key. You can just smile, show your boarding pass, and say, "Excuse me, I think this might be my seat 24B.
Ah, that phrase, "I think this might be my seat," is so gentle. It gives the person a chance to check their ticket without feeling attacked or embarrassed.
Exactly. 9 times out of 10, they just misread their ticket and they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was in 24B," and they move right away.
And what if they say, "Oh, my husband is sitting in 24A. Would you mind swapping seats with me so we can sit together?"
That happens all the time. If the new seat is similar, like another window or aisle seat, you can say, "Sure, no problem at all." But if they're offering you a middle seat and you don't want it, it's completely okay to say no.
Wait, you can say no? How do you say no without feeling like a mean person?
You can just say, "I'm really sorry, but I specifically booked an aisle seat, so I'd prefer to stay here." You are allowed to keep the seat you paid for, Leo.
That is such empowering advice, Lily. Non-native speakers often feel like they have to say yes to everything just to avoid awkward English conversations.
I know, but standing up for yourself politely in English is a huge step in building confidence.
So true. What about when you're on the long flight and the flight attendant comes down the aisle with the food cart?
Ah, the meal service. They'll usually ask chicken or pasta, or beef or vegetarian.
It's always chicken or pasta. Why is it always chicken or pasta on every flight in history?
It's an unwritten rule of aviation, Leo. Nobody knows why. But when they ask, you can simply state your choice. Chicken, please. And if you want a drink, you can add, and could I have an apple juice with no ice, please?
What if you're feeling cold during the flight? Cabin air can get really chilly after a few hours.
You can press the attendant call button above your seat or catch the flight attendant's eye when they walk past and ask, "Excuse me, could I get a blanket, please?" Or, "Is it possible to get an extra pillow?"
And if you're feeling thirsty between meal services,
You can walk up to the galley, that's the small kitchen area at the back of the plane, and politely ask, "Hi, could I please get a cup of water?" The crew are always happy to help you stay hydrated.
galleys are great places to stretch your legs on long-haul flights too. Sitting for 10 hours straight is so hard on your body.
Oh, definitely. Doing a little walk down the aisle every couple of hours, stretching your calves, and drinking water makes a massive difference in how you feel when you land.
Now, what about landing? When the plane touches down and everyone immediately stands up while the plane is still moving.
Why do people do that? The seatbelt sign is still on, the plane is still taxiing, and people are already opening the overhead bins.
It's a human reflex. Everyone just wants to get off the plane as fast as possible.
It really is. But taking your time, making sure you have your passport, phone, and wallet from your seat pocket before you step off saves you from leaving anything behind.
Leaving a phone on a plane is a nightmare.
A total nightmare. Once you walk through those doors and enter the airport building, getting back onto the aircraft to search for a lost item is almost impossible because of security rules.
So, double-check your seat pocket before you unbuckle.
Always double check. Now, Leo, what happens once you exit the airport and you need to get to your hotel? Taxis, buses, trains?
Ground transportation. That's another area where travelers get nervous because people shouting, "Taxi! Taxi!" outside the airport can be very pushy.
Yes, a major safety tip for international travelers: always use the official taxi rank or book a rideshare app like Uber or Lyft. Never accept rides from random people standing inside the arrival hall.
Right. Official taxi stands usually have a clear line and a staff member directing cars. When you reach the front of the line, you can just tell the driver, "Hi, I'm going to this address, please," and show them the address on your phone screen.
Showing the address on your phone is a lifesaver. It avoids any pronunciation misunderstandings, especially if street names are tricky in English.
And what if you want to know the price beforehand?
You can ask, approximately how much will the fare be to the city center? Or, do you accept credit cards? Asking about credit cards before you put your luggage in the trunk is very important.
Yes, because some drivers only take cash, and finding an ATM with heavy bags at midnight is not fun.
Not fun at all. What about public transport, Leo? Like taking the airport express train?
I love airport trains. They're usually faster and cheaper than taxis. You just look for signs that say train or ground transportation. When you get to the ticket counter or machine, you can buy a ticket or ask which platform goes to the central station.
And if you're using a ticket machine and get confused, you can ask a staff member, "Excuse me, could you help me select the right ticket for the city center?"
Staff members near airport stations are so used to helping tourists. They'll press the buttons on the screen for you in 2 seconds.
They really will. So, looking at the whole journey from packing your bag according to your baggage allowance, surviving security, finding your boarding gate, passing customs easily, to getting into your taxi, it's all just a step-by-step process.
It is. It's not one giant, overwhelming monster. It's just small, individual steps, and you can handle every single one of them in simple English.
Absolutely. You don't need fancy vocabulary or perfect grammar. You just need a few key phrases, a calm mindset, and the willingness to ask for help when you need it.
You know, Lily, remember that time we traveled together for that language conference and we almost missed our flight because we were arguing about coffee?
Oh my goodness, do not bring that up. That was totally your fault.
My fault? You were the one who insisted on waiting in line for 20 minutes at that specialty bakery because you wanted a fresh croissant.
It was an almond croissant, Leo. It was worth every single second.
We had to do the famous airport sprint, carrying our heavy backpacks through Terminal 2.
We were running and my shoe came off. I had to stop and put my shoe back on, like Cinderella in an airport.
Cinderella with a backpack and an almond croissant. That is the ultimate airport image right there.
It really was, but honestly, even in those chaotic moments, when things don't go according to plan, it all becomes part of the adventure.
That is such a beautiful way to look at it, Lily. Travel isn't meant to be perfect. Things will get delayed, bags will be heavy, and you might have to run through a terminal wearing one shoe.
Exactly. The goal isn't to have a completely flawless trip. The goal is to feel capable of handling whatever happens along the way. And every time you use your English to ask a question or solve a problem at the airport, you are growing so much.
You know, speaking of delays, that's another big thing that causes travelers a ton of stress. Standing in front of those huge information boards, watching the word delayed or canceled pop up next to your flight number.
Ooh, flight delays. That sudden drop in your stomach when you realize you might be stuck at the gate for 3, 4, or even 5 hours.
Right, and when a flight gets delayed or canceled, hundreds of angry passengers immediately rush to the customer service desk. What is the best way to handle that situation in English, Lily?
Well, first of all, staying calm and polite with the gate agent will take you so much further than shouting. Remember, the person behind the counter didn't break the airplane. They are just trying to help.
So true. Agents deal with frustrated people all day. When someone walks up with a warm smile and a polite attitude, the agent is much more likely to go out of their way to help you.
100%. You can walk up to the counter and simply say, "Hi, I see my flight has been delayed. Could you please check if I will still make my connecting flight in Chicago?"
And what if the agent says, "No, you're going to miss your layover connection"?
Then you can ask, "What are my options for rebooking?" Or, "Is there an alternative flight available today?" Those two phrases are absolute lifesavers.
Ooh, alternative flight. That's another great word for our listeners. An alternative flight just means a different flight that can get you to your destination.
Exactly. And if the delay is very long, say overnight, you can politely ask, "Does the airline provide meal vouchers or hotel vouchers for long delays?"
A voucher, that's like a special ticket or coupon given by the airline to pay for your food or your hotel room, right?
Yes, many airlines are legally required to provide vouchers for meals or overnight accommodation if a long delay is their fault, like a mechanical issue with the plane.
So don't be afraid to ask for those vouchers. Just remember to keep your tone soft and respectful, like, "Could you tell me if meal vouchers are provided for this delay?"
Perfect formulation, Leo. Now, what if you're stuck at the boarding gate for 3 hours and your phone battery is at 2%?
Oh, ultimate modern nightmare. 2% battery in an airport with no charger.
It is catastrophic. You start looking around the waiting area like a detective, searching for a wall outlet or a charging station.
And every single charging pole already has 5 people sitting on the floor around it like they're gathering around a campfire.
It really looks like a digital campfire. Everyone's staring at their screens in complete silence. But if you need to share an outlet, you can just approach someone politely and say, "Excuse me, mind if I plug my charger in here too?"
Most travelers are super understanding about battery emergencies. They'll gladly make a little space for you on the carpet.
They really will. And while we're talking about staying connected at the airport, let's talk about connecting to the airport Wi-Fi.
Ah, free public Wi-Fi. Sometimes it works smoothly, but other times you get stuck on those complicated login screens.
Right. If you're struggling to connect, or if you need to ask an airport information desk for help, you can just ask, "Is there free Wi-Fi available here?" Or, "Do I need a password to access the network?"
Or if you're at an airport cafe, you can ask the cashier, "Could you please share the Wi-Fi code for customers?" They usually have it printed right on the receipt or on a sign near the register.
Having internet access on your phone makes airport navigation 10 times easier. You can translate signs, check live gate updates on the airline app, or text your family to tell them you landed safely.
That text to your family, "I've landed safe and sound," that is the best feeling in the world after a long journey.
It really is. That feeling of walking out of the terminal, feeling the fresh outside air on your face, and knowing you did it. You navigated through check-in, security, customs, and ground transport, all in English.
It gives you such an incredible boost of confidence. You realize, hey, I can actually travel the world and communicate with people.
Absolutely. And that confidence carries over into every other part of your life, not just travel. Every small step you take in a new language makes you stronger and more capable.
You know, speaking of delays, that's another big thing that causes travelers a ton of stress. Standing in front of those huge information boards, watching the word delayed or canceled pop up next to your flight number.
Ooh, flight delays. That sudden drop in your stomach when you realize you might be stuck at the gate for 3, 4, or even 5 hours.
Right, and when a flight gets delayed or canceled, hundreds of angry passengers immediately rush to the customer service desk. What is the best way to handle that situation in English, Lily?
Well, first of all, staying calm and polite with the gate agent will take you so much further than shouting. Remember, the person behind the counter didn't break the airplane. They are just trying to help.
So true. Agents deal with frustrated people all day. When someone walks up with a warm smile and a polite attitude, the agent is much more likely to go out of their way to help you.
100%. You can walk up to the counter and simply say, "Hi, I see my flight has been delayed. Could you please check if I will still make my connecting flight in Chicago?"
And what if the agent says, "No, you're going to miss your layover connection"?
Then you can ask, "What are my options for rebooking?" Or, "Is there an alternative flight available today?" Those two phrases are absolute lifesavers.
Ooh, alternative flight. That's another great word for our listeners. An alternative flight just means a different flight that can get you to your destination.
Exactly. And if the delay is very long, say overnight, you can politely ask, "Does the airline provide meal vouchers or hotel vouchers for long delays?"
A voucher, that's like a special ticket or coupon given by the airline to pay for your food or your hotel room, right?
Yes, many airlines are legally required to provide vouchers for meals or overnight accommodation if a long delay is their fault, like a mechanical issue with the plane.
So don't be afraid to ask for those vouchers. Just remember to keep your tone soft and respectful, like, "Could you tell me if meal vouchers are provided for this delay?"
Perfect formulation, Leo. Now, what if you are stuck at the boarding gate for 3 hours and your phone battery is at 2%?
Ugh, ultimate modern nightmare. 2% battery in an airport with no charger.
It is catastrophic. You start looking around the waiting area like a detective, searching for a wall outlet or a charging station.
And every single charging pole already has 5 people sitting on the floor around it, like they're gathering around a campfire.
It really looks like a digital campfire. Everyone's staring at their screens in complete silence. But if you need to share an outlet, you can just approach someone politely and say, "Excuse me, mind if I plug my charger in here too?"
Most travelers are super understanding about battery emergencies. They'll gladly make a little space for you on the carpet.
They really will. And while we're talking about staying connected at the airport, let's talk about connecting to the airport Wi-Fi.
Ah, free public Wi-Fi. Sometimes it works smoothly, but other times you get stuck on those complicated login screens.
Right. If you're struggling to connect or if you need to ask an airport information desk for help, you can just ask, "Is there free Wi-Fi available here?" Or, "Do I need a password to access the network?"
Or if you're at an airport cafe, you can ask the cashier, "Could you please share the Wi-Fi code for customers?" They usually have it printed right on the receipt or on a sign near the register.
Having internet access on your phone makes airport navigation 10 times easier. You can translate signs, check live gate updates on the airline app, or text your family to tell them you landed safely.
That text to your family, "I've landed safe and sound," that is the best feeling in the world after a long journey.
It really is. That feeling of walking out of the terminal, feeling the fresh outside air on your face, and knowing you did it. You navigated through check-in, security, customs, and ground transport all in English.
It gives you such an incredible boost of confidence. You realize, hey, I can actually travel the world and communicate with people.
And that confidence carries over into every other part of your life, not just travel. Every small step you take in a new language makes you stronger and more capable.
Speaking of stepping out of the airport, what about when you get to your hotel lobby? That's usually the final step of the travel day.
Ah, hotel check-in. You walk up to the reception desk feeling tired, dusty from the plane, and ready for a good shower.
What is the simplest way to check into your room, Lily?
Just hand them your passport and say, "Hi, good evening. I have a reservation under the name Leo."
And what if you booked the room online beforehand?
You can add, "I booked online through Expedia," or "I have my booking confirmation number right here."
And then they give you that wonderful little key card, tell you what floor your room is on, and point you toward the elevator.
And if you're too exhausted to go out for dinner, you can ask the receptionist, "Do you have a room service menu? Or are there any good late-night restaurants nearby that deliver?"
Oh, ordering room service after a long travel day feels like pure luxury, listening to the knock on the door and someone bringing you hot food on a tray.
It's the ultimate reward after surviving airport security and grandma's sausage at customs.
Grandma's sausage will forever be my favorite customs story. Poor guy.
We've talked about so many practical situations today, Leo. Check-in counters, baggage allowances, security procedures, connecting flights at the boarding gate, passing customs easily, handling lost luggage, ordering airport food, plane seat etiquette, and hotel check-ins.
It's a complete travel guide in simple, real English. And the best part is our listeners can replay this conversation whenever they're preparing for their next big trip.
That's the beauty of listening practice. The more you hear these natural sentences and pauses, the more natural they will feel when you speak them yourself.
Lily, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone who is flying internationally for the very first time next week?
I would tell them, give yourself extra time. Don't rush. Arrive at the airport 3 hours early for international flights. When you aren't rushing, your stress levels drop, and it's much easier to think and speak clearly in English.
That is brilliant advice. Rushing creates panic, and panic makes you forget your vocabulary. When you have plenty of time, you can take a deep breath, read the signs carefully, and speak at your own pace.
Exactly. Slow down, give yourself grace, and remember that everyone around you at the airport is just trying to get to their destination too.
What about you, Lily? Do you have any travel plans coming up soon?
Actually, yes. I'm planning a little weekend trip in a couple of months.
Oh, where are you heading?
Somewhere with a very simple airport and 0 layovers.
Wise choice, Lily. Direct flights are the true secret to a peaceful life.
They really are. No running through gigantic terminals, no sweating over tight connections. Just one flight and you're there.
You know, thinking about all these travel scenarios makes me realize how much language learning is actually about handling uncertainty. At an airport, things are constantly changing. Times shift, gates change, announcements are made over noisy speakers.
That is such a profound point, Leo. When you're listening to airport announcements, it can be so intimidating because of the echo in those huge halls.
Right, you hear that little chime, ding dong, and then a voice comes on saying, "Attention passengers on flight 402 to Madrid," and suddenly your ears perk up.
Yes, and here's a trick for understanding those noisy airport announcements. You don't need to catch every single word of the sentence. Just listen for 3 key details: your flight number, your city destination, and the gate number.
That's so smart. So if you hear Flight 402, Madrid, Gate B12, that's all the information you actually need. Everything else is just filler words.
Exactly. And if an announcement sounds important, but you couldn't hear it clearly because of the background noise, you can always walk up to any gate agent and ask, "Was that announcement for the flight to Madrid?"
Simple, direct, and completely effective. What about those digital flight status boards, Lily? Sometimes those words on the screen change and people aren't sure what they mean in English.
Ah, yes. Let's quickly go over a few common status words you see on airport screens. Now boarding means passengers are currently getting onto the plane right now. Final call means the gate is about to close, so you need to hurry. Delayed means the flight will depart later than planned. And canceled means the flight is not operating.
That's super clear. And what about on time?
That's the magic phrase everyone wants to see. On time means everything is running according to schedule.
Seeing on time next to your flight in green letters brings such an immediate feeling of relief.
It really does. You can relax, grab a quiet cup of tea or coffee, and just wait comfortably near your boarding gate.
Lily, we've covered so much ground in today's conversation, from packing within your baggage allowance to navigating security lines, surviving layovers, handling customs questions with total ease, tracking down lost luggage, ordering meals at the terminal, and even dealing with delays.
It really feels like we took our listeners on a complete travel journey today. And honestly, I hope everyone listening feels a little lighter and a lot more confident about their next trip.
Me too. English isn't about being perfect or sounding like a dictionary. It's about connecting with people, getting where you need to go, and enjoying the world.
Well said, Leo. So to everyone listening out there, whether you're planning a trip next week, next year, or just practicing your English while taking a walk today, we are so proud of you for showing up and listening.
Absolutely. Keep practicing. Take it one phrase at a time. And remember, you've got this.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us on English Podcast for You. Take care of your English, take care of yourselves, and happy travels.
Safe travels, everyone. See you as the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.